Well, Farrell here in Condotel Hub, giving you some extra guidance on some of the condos in Destin, Florida, and throughout the Emerald Coast. This is actually going to be a Miramar Beach comparison between Beachside 2 and Beachside 1. And these are two condos that are listed in the 1.1 range. And you can see these are going to be on the water. This one, 4373 Beachside 2, unit number 373. A quick look at some of the pictures. You can see here, this first one, it's got the water views, updated interior. So this is one, and the other property is going to be 4061 Beachside 1, listed at 1.1. These are both 2-bed, 2-bath properties around that 1,100, 1,200 square feet range. And going to be looking at some of the different numbers comparing these. This is an article from Team Margagliano. This is in the Sandestin area. And this is a brief history. Beachside 1, which is over here, built in 1984. 12 stories tall, 120 units. Beachside 2, built in 86. It's a bigger building, 21 stories tall, more units, more variants of units with 1-bed, 2-bed, 3-bed, versus Beachside 1, which you've got 1 beds and 2 beds. So from an amenity standpoint, they're sharing, I think, a lot of the amenities here. And one of the things that jumped out when I was looking at these properties was the condo fee difference. Again, Beachside 1, the condo fee is higher, $1,337, versus Beachside 2, in which the condo fee is $751. So going back to Beachside 1, again, this one listed at 1.1. This is going to show some of the interior photos. And, looks nice. But just from the quick viewance of it, the other one looks a little more updated on the interior. Okay, I'm going to skip to the data. Again, this is some data that I provided to a client a while back, because both of these properties have been on the market for a long time. 220 days for here. The other one was in a similar range. So the way that I've got this broken down, if you haven't seen these before, don't need rental income means we're calling this a second home. Again, these are condotels. So the typical Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac condo approval process is not going to work. These are short-term rental type of property. So we need a different type of condotel product to be able to get these through to the finish line. And so if you do need rental income, actually, this is not right. 7.125, 6.75. Okay. Updating this on the fly. So if you don't need rental income, the rates are going to be better than if you do need the rental income to qualify. I mean, we're calling it an investment property versus, say, a second home. So if we're looking at the difference in these payments, again, 25% down, the principal and interest is $56.54 at the higher interest rate, needing the rental income, higher rate 8.375, the payment's going to be about $800 roughly higher. Obviously, putting more money down means the payment's going to be lower, but also the rates are going to be a little bit lower too. So 0.25% difference in rate here. And this one, a little bit more of a difference, 0.3% difference in rate. So again, these are not rate quotes. These are just examples for illustration and education purposes. So please be aware of that. Rates change every day. And this is some old data that I had prepared and whatnot. And what I did do is I did pull up some AirDNA info, which again, AirDNA is a tool that helps provide short-term rental income projections. And again, this is not an end-all be-all, just to get some data on the board. Our process that we would typically do for a client is reach out to a couple of short-term rental property management companies, cross-check some data, talk to the agents, talk to a few more people to get some better expectations. This one says 92,000 for a 2-bed, 2-bath. And what's interesting is that even if you put in 6 guests, make that change, in theory, that means probably more rental income. But when you do these for certain situations, the data comes back pretty similar. So again, this is the $1.19 million price point. The HOA fee is $751, so lower. Beachside 2 is lower than the Beachside 1. And this last column is going to show rents versus the payment. Now, whenever we talk about short-term rentals, again, remember there's going to be expenses that will go into it, furnishing it, running the day-to-day, utilities. I have projections for taxes, insurance, and HOA, but there's way more analysis that needs to go into in terms of confirming what expenses to project. So this is just for illustration purposes. This is just looking at the gross rents versus what the actual payment would look like, including HOAs, to give you comparison. So 1.19, 25% down. You're going to have 557 left over if you're putting 25% down. So you put 30% down, lower rate, 1131 left over towards other types of things such as expenses. If you need the rental income to qualify, rates are higher. This puts that margin for error lower. Coming back down to the 1.1 price, this is again Beachside 1. Condo fee is $1,337. So this is going to stretch these numbers. Obviously, this is about a $600 difference. And you can see these numbers getting crunched lower in terms of what's left over to cover expenses. Obviously, the more money down you put, the lower your payment's going to be. So just a quick rundown of how we look at things, trying to help a client to be able to compare similar properties, units, dimensions. If they were to purchase one of these 2 units, which one would you be looking to purchase? Similar purchase prices, different dimensions. Which one do you prefer? So in the comments, let us know what you think, and we'll come back for some more information and maybe even be able to do maybe some video walkthrough in the future. Actually, one more thing. One thing I'm going to do is then the question becomes, well, what price do you want to get this at? And so let's say that you need the rental income to qualify. You put, let's just say you're going to put 30% down, and we're going to compare prices. So let's say you come down to 1.019. Let's just say you bid 100K below. What does that do to the payment? That 100,000 roughly in price means your loan amount is going to be about 70K difference, and that payment difference is going to be in the $600 to $700 range. So 100K price may end up changing your payment by about $700, $600 to $700. Some extra data to be aware of. So if you have any other thoughts or questions, let us know. And again, until the next Condotel that we look at, have a great evening.